Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for coming back. To all our subscribers, thank you for coming back. Thank you for your likes, thank you for your shares, thank you for your comments. We're really grateful to you. Thank you so much. So last series we did was on cardiovascular positioning, and we talked about amputation. So today we're going to be talking about working with crutches in relation to amputation we talked about the last time, because I think this is related to it. So let's start. We're going to talk about working with crutches, different type of gaits, and we're going to look at some nclex questions. Okay, sit back and enjoy. So crutch working. One thing that's very important for crutch working is the measurement, the appropriate measurement of the distance between the axilla and the crutch arm itself. So how do we measure? How do we measure correctly to avoid further injury or injury to the brachial plexus? The distance between the axilla and the arm piece on the crutch should be 2 to 3 finger width in the axillar space. Wrong measurements can lead to damage of the brachial plexus. So it's important you measure correctly. And this is one of the reasons why patients are not allowed to use other people's crutches, because of course they might not be the same height, and the distance between the axilla and the axillary space be different. Again, how should the patient hold the crutch correctly? The elbow should be slightly flexed 20 to 30 degrees when the client is working or when the client is ambulating. Stand on the affected side when ambulating. Yes, the patient should stand on the affected side when ambulating. Don't rest the axilla on the axillary bar to avoid damage of the brachial plexus or further injury. The patient should stop, or the client should stop ambulating when they feel numbness or tingling in their hands or arms. Look up and outward when ambulating, and to place the clutch 6 to 10 inches diagonally in front of the foot. This is very important. How to place or work ambulate with the crutch is very important. The client should be looking up and outward when ambulating, and to place the clutch 6 to 10 inches or 23.5 centimeters diagonally in front of the foot. Now let's go look at some. We'll start with 2-point gait. When is 2-point gait used? 2-point gait can be used when the patient can bear partial weight and when the patient has bilateral lower extremity prosthesis. And what is the procedure to use it? The crutch should be on the affected side and the unaffected side advance at the same time. So the crutch on the affected side, the unaffected foot advance at the same time. Okay, now we'll look at 3-point gait. 3-point gait as well as the 2-point gait is used when the patient can bear partial weight or no weight bearing is required for that client, and also the client have strength and balance. So it can either be used for partial weight or no weight bearing, or when the client has strength and balance. So how should the client ambulate with a 3-point gait? With both clutch and the foot of the affected extremity advance together. So the both clutch, the foot of the affected extremity advance together, followed by the foot of the unaffected extremity. So let's just look at the picture. So the both clutches and the affected extremity, followed by, sorry for the noise, followed by the foot of the unaffected extremity. So the both clutch advance first, then the affected extremity, followed by the unaffected extremity. That's for 3-point gait. 4-point gait. When should 4-point gait be used? When weight bearing is allowed and one foot can be placed in front of the other. When weight bearing is allowed and when one foot can be placed on the other. So how should the patient use 4-point gait? The right clutch is advanced, and then the alternative foot, or the opposite foot. So the right clutch and the left foot, then the left clutch and the right foot. So look at the picture here. For step one, you see here the right foot is advanced, the right clutch is advanced, followed by the left foot, and then the right foot can be advanced, followed by the right foot can be advanced, followed by the left clutch. Okay, so the clutch, one clutch, and the opposite foot. We're also going to look at swing to gait. Swing to gait is used when the client has adequate muscle power and balance in arm and legs. Both clutches advance together, then both legs are lifted and placed down on the spot behind the clutch. The feet clutches form a tripod image, okay? So both clutches advance, then both legs are lifted and placed on the spot behind the clutch, and then the foot and the crutches, they form a tripod stand. Look at swing through gait. Both crutches advance together, then both legs are lifted through and beyond the crutches and placed against at a point in front of the crutch. Okay, that's what the difference is. You can also look at it from the as well. Now, how can we teach the patient who is on crutches to sit and stand? They should place their unaffected leg against in front of the chair. So look at the picture, the unaffected leg in front of the chair. Move the crutch to the affected side. So the affected side would have support and something to hold on to. And then grasp the arm of the chair with the hand on the affected side. Okay, flex the knee of the affected leg to lower self into the chair while placing the affected leg straight out in front. Flex the knee of the unaffected legs. Yes, flex the knee of the unaffected legs in front while placing the affected leg straight out in front. For standing up, for sitting or standing, for standing up, the reverse step is the case. So let's say, for example, for standing up, the reverse step to move from a sitting to a standing position. They will do the reverse of what they did while sitting. How do we teach clients with crutches to go up the stairs and down the stairs? Let's start with going up the stairs. The client moves the unaffected leg up first. For going up unaffected, good leg up. Okay, so the client moves the unaffected leg up first. The client moves the affected leg and the crutch up afterwards. So unaffected leg first and affected leg and the crutch afterwards. That's for going up, good leg up. For going down, the client moves the crutches and the affected legs. So the crutches and the affected legs, and then followed by the unaffected leg down. So the bad leg going with the crutches for going down. Now that brings us to the end of gaits and knowing which client is supposed to be using what type of gait and how, and the procedures on how to work or ambulate with these different gaits. Let's look at some nclex questions regarding or relating to what we just learned today. The client being measured for crutches asked the nurse why the clutch cannot rest up underneath the arm for extra support. The nurse responds knowing that which most likely result from this improper crutch measurement. Fall and a further injury, injury to the brachial plexus nerves, skin breakdown in the area of the axilla, impaired range of motion while the client ambulates. Drum rolls. Did you get it? Let's see what that is. The answer is B. If you could remember what we said from the beginning, measurement is very important to avoid injury to the brachial plexus. So crutches are measured so that the top are 2 to 3 finger width from the axilla. This ensures that the client's axilla are not resting on the crutch or bearing weight of the crutch, which could result in nerve damage, the brachial plexus. Okay. Another one. Next question. The nurse has given the client instruction about crutch safety. Which statement indicates that the client understands the instructions? Select all that apply. The hard ones. Okay. I should use someone else's crutch. Remember, can the client use someone else's crutch? Why or why not? You should know that they cannot, because they measure 2 to 3 finger width from the axilla, and the measurement is for that client, not for another person. I need to remove my scattered rugs at home. Yeah, this looks good, because if the client that has crutches must make sure they have safety at home, remove scattered rug that might lead to risk for fall. I can use crutch tips when they are wet. When they are wet, that increases the risk for fall. So can they do that? I need to have spare crutches and tips available. Okay. When I use the crutch, my arm needs to be completely straight. No, the arm needs to be 20 to 30 degree slightly flexed. The able needs to be 20 to 30 degrees slightly flexed, not straight up. So what's the answer? A, B, and D. The client should use only clutches measured for the client. When assessing for home safety, the nurse ensures that the client knows to remove any scattered rocks and does not work on a highly waxed floor. The tip should be inspected for wear, and spare clutches and tips should be available if needed. Yes. Clutch tips should remain dry to avoid the risk of fall. If clutch tips are wet, the client should dry them with a cloth or paper towel. When working with crutches, both able need to be flexed, not more than 30 degree, 20 to 30 degree range when the palms are on the handle. The last question for today. The nurse is caring for a client who had an above knee amputation 2 days ago. The residual limb was wrapped with an elastic compression bandage, which has come off. Which immediate action should the nurse take? Remember, in the last video we talked about amputation. So I think this question is easy and just requires, a little bit of knowledge of what amputation is. Apply ice to the site, call the primary health care provider, rewrap the residual limb with an elastic compression bandage, apply a dry sterile dressing, and elevate the residual limb on one pillow. Drum roll. The answer is C. If the client with amputation has a cast or elastic compression bandage that slips off, the nurse must wrap limb immediately with another elastic compression bandage. Otherwise, excessive edema will form rapidly, which that's not what we want, which could cause a significant delay in rehabilitation. If the client had a cast that slipped off, the nurse would have to call the primary health care provider so that they can make a new one. Why? Remember, if you place the cast back, it can lead to compartment syndrome, which is an emergency and can make the client lose the limb or the extremity. So it's important the primary health care provider is called. Elevation on one pillow in that elevation on one pillow might make the client develop edema where greatly once compression is released. Eyes will be of limited value in controlling edema from this course. If the primary health provider were caught, the prescription would likely be reapply the compression dressing anyway. So to reapply the compression dressing is important to avoid rapidly forming edema. So guys, this brings us to the end of today's lecture, crutch working or gait. So I hope you learned something from today's class, and I hope this benefits you in one or two ways. And I hope you could do the nclex questions. Okay? So don't forget to like, comment, and share and subscribe. Till will come your way again. Thank you so much once more. I'll see you in our next video. Bye.